condominiums. Lakeshore Drive still being built after many years. They're getting there slowly. Anyway, so just a little bit of an update, really. Life goes on in the Philippines. There's lots of turmoil. There's lots of fake news flying around. There's lots of chica on Facebook. There's lots of these announcements. There's lots of press conferences. There's lots of I just keep away from it. I'm just turning around telling you, you'll see it everywhere. I've got friends of mine asking me questions from Vietnam and from London and from the US, what's going on. I don't know what's going on, and I don't really care. If it affects me, then I will look to do something different. So the vlog today is when you're coming to the Philippines. Coming to the Philippines, somebody asked me yesterday, what do I need to set up? Well, so you're coming to the Philippines and you're going to fly in. You need to make a decision what type of visa you want to get. So do you do a tourist visa? Do you do a ballot bayan if you've got a partner? Do you do a 13A? Or do you do an SRRV? Well, that's down to you. And each one has its benefits and it doesn't have benefits. But what you need to do is you need to arrive, and I would suggest you spend anywhere between 3 and 6 months living as cheaply as possible and find the area in the Philippines you want to live, whether it's up in Manila and Luzon, or whether it's in Cebu and the Visayas, or whether it's in Mindanao and Davao. You have to make that decision. You have to turn around and find an area that you feel comfortable about, that you feel when you're out there the people are smiling at you and they're very jovial, they're very open, and they're very chatty chica with you. And once you find that, then you can turn around and say, right, okay, I'm going to pick this area. And once you've picked that area, then you turn around and you decide where you want to live. So if you're saying that you want to live in Davao, for instance, you can look at Pampanga or Sasa, or out near Langa, or up near the airport, or you can live over downtown, or you can live up near Moritz on a diversion road, or you can live in one of the affluent subdivisions, or you can live in one of the condos like you can see behind me, or you can live in a smaller, older subdivision, or you can live in a downtown region that is just a town area. It's not a subdivision, it's just an area that people have built houses. Or you can move out towards Digos, or you can move out towards Toril and Calinan and Buda. Now, I've got a friend that lives out in Calinan, and he lives in a hollow block house with some arcan, bamboo panels under a roof with his girlfriend. Very, very cheap way of living, but not for me. And this is what you need to get into your head. You need to understand that it's what you are looking for. You have a budget, and I don't know what your budget's going to be, and I don't know, and I'm not even going to ask what your budget is, but you have a budget. And if that budget is going to be 60,000 pesos a month, you need to live within 60,000 pesos a month. If it's 100,000 pesos a month, it's 100,000. Now, I could give you the exchange rate regarding the dollar, or the Canadian dollar, or the Australian dollar, or the UK pound, or the euro, but they're all volatile at the moment, because outside of the Philippines you've got all these crazy people running their countries, that are disturbing and upsetting the world, like Mr. Putin and Mr. Trump and Mr. Macron and Mr. Starmer and Mark Carey out of Canada. So these guys can't actually agree on what they want to turn around and do with the world and their lives and their countries. So that affects the stability. So when it becomes stable, then you can turn around and get maybe 58 peso to the USD. If you turn around and it becomes stable, you can get 73 peso to the pound. If you turn around and it's stable, you can get maybe 38 peso to the US dollar, to the Aussie dollar, the Australian dollar. But when you come here, you need to make sure that you've got money to pay your rent or pay for your property. You need to make sure that you pay your tax, your property tax on a house you own. But if you rent it, you don't need to pay that because the landlord pays it. If you're living in a subdivision, you need to pay your management dues. If you live in a condominium, you need to pay the condominium management fees. And they can be anything up to 2,000 peso a month. You need to pay your electricity. So your my electricity bill this month is 2,400 peso. You can go up as much as 4,000 to 5,000 peso, depending on what you're running within your house, your condo, your property, whatever it is. Then you need to turn around and pay your dues on your transport. Whether you live in a subdivision, you'll have to pay 200 peso for you to drive in and out with your car. You need to pay your fuel, you'll need to pay your food, you need to pay your living expenses, you'll need to pay your partner. If you have a partner, she will need baon. If she's working, then she doesn't need baon. You can just keep your money, she can earn her money, and she keeps her money. You need money to turn around and get from A to B. You need money to save up for your visa, whether that's a tourist visa or a ballot bayan. It will be free for 1 year, but then you will end up having to pay a tourist visa after 1 year. Or you've got your 13A, which is $310 a year, but you need to pay for that and do your processing of that over a 3-month period. And you need to make sure when you're processing that, you don't exit the Philippines, because then you'll have to restart the whole process again on your 13A. Or you turn around and do an SRV where you need to put money in a deposit account, which you have access to, and you can use that to buy a property, or you earn interest on it, and the interest at the moment is fairly good, and then you take that interest out of that timeshare or that timed account and move it into your own bank account, so it helps you with your living costs. So it's what you want. Now, I was asked yesterday, and I was very apprehensive when I moved here, and it was like, okay, what's it going to be like? What's it going to do? Well, 8 years later, those reservations are gone. I prefer living here than I do living in my country. I don't like what's going on at the moment that happens within the bigger, wider world, and the political upheaval that's going on within the Philippines. But whatever happens, I still enjoy my life, and I keep my life to my life, and I keep myself to myself, and I enjoy what I'm doing. And I was out yesterday, and I had a great time with an Aussie friend, and we enjoyed breakfast, we enjoyed lunch, we enjoyed a few drinks, we enjoyed some chica, we enjoyed some chatting, we enjoyed going around davao. But you can do that every day. So on your money side of it, it's fairly straightforward. Okay, the government says you need, as a single person, 800 USD a month, or as a couple you need $1,000 a month. If you've got that and you can afford that, then you can live here. But how you live here, if you want to live restricted lifestyle, simple lifestyle like I do, great. If you want to live like a king and blow money left, right and centre, and flash the cash, do you know what I mean? Or do loads of money, and you'll burn through what your savings are, what your pensions are, what your annuity is, what your financial situation is, what your rent is doing to pay for you to live here. I don't turn around and factor in anything regarding medical here. I turn around and have a credit card that I use for medical, and I'll explain that a couple of times. I don't see why I should go and pay to get an insurance policy that has a load of caveats on it. You can't do this, you can't do that, it doesn't do this, it doesn't do that, you're too old, you're too young, you're too fat, you're too round, you're too... No, if I get ill, then I go and pay cash. It's a cash society here, and it works. If you're rich, it's a credit debt society, which is a whole new way about you live in debt the rest of your life, and when you pass on, somebody else picks up all your debt or they wipe it off. So, yeah, it's you don't need a lot to set yourself up. You just need your parameters. Getting a bank account in the Philippines, depending on which visa you are, if you're on a tourist visa, it'll take you around 6 months. People will turn around and say to me, oh yeah, but I arrived and I walked into a BDO and a union bank in the provinces and I got a bank account easily. Well, yeah, you might do. You might do. It depends on the bank. It depends where you're going. But here in the city, I went to around 15 to 20 banks when I first came here, and it was always 6 months, 6 months, 6 months for a foreigner. You have to wait 6 months, 6 months, 6 months. But when you've got a bank account and you've got a local ID and you've got an ACRI card, and you can then turn around. But what banks don't want to turn around and do is find you're on a tourist visa, you run out of all this debt, and then you get on a plane and you fly out and leave all the debt behind. That's why banks wait, that's 6 months. So anyway, yeah, it's pretty cool. Do I enjoy my life here? Yes, I do enjoy my life here. And you can watch my videos. You can watch all the videos that I've got 1,700. So as they do on YouTube, all these people are watching my video, but they're not subscribing. Well, guys, like, share, and subscribe for me. Let's hopefully grow my channel a little bit. My views are going down at the moment. And the reason my views are going down is mainly because of everything that's going on Facebook and YouTube regarding the political scene at the present time here in the Philippines, with the two powerhouse families fighting it out. So I'm okay if my YouTube channel goes down. I'm okay if my YouTube channel goes up, because I use my YouTube channel as a hobby, not as a way of life. I don't need my YouTube channel like a lot of people to pay to live here, okay? And you know, if you're going to come here, you need to get a hobby. Whether that hobby is reading up about the history of the Philippines and understanding about all the presidents, the 40 odd, I think it's 40 presidents or 27 presidents that have been here in the Philippines. You can read up about their life and their family and how they got there. You look at the Spanish and you can look at the history behind Spain in the Philippines, or you can look at the history behind the Japanese when they were here in the Second World War, or you can look at the Asian history about the influx of Chinese, Vietnamese, communism, capitalism, democracy, republic. You can look at that, or you can turn around and do a little TikTok video. You can turn around and do a bit of dancing, or you can go out and you can look at restaurants and eat out every day, like I do. I go and eat out every day. It's cheaper for me to eat out, because if I'm at home and I'm cooking, I have to cook, I have to turn on the stove, I turn on the AC to keep the place cool, and my bills go up. So I'd rather spend the money outside, and that's why I go out and eat, and I go out and I chill out, and I meet people. I've just been talking to some friends downstairs, some Italian friends that come from Australia, and before that I was having a cup of coffee with George. And you grow your network, and you encourage your network, and it's not you have to do it, it's you do it because you'd like to, and if you turn up, you turn up. If you don't turn up, you don't turn up. But you can go and travel, get on a bus, do a bus journey, or a busman's holiday, go from here to Ginseng, go from here to Cotabato, go from here to Kidapawan, go from here to Butuan, go from here to Siargao. Or you can fly, or you can catch a boat, the to-go ferry. You can catch that up to Ginseng or Iloilo or Manila. You can do all those stuff. Remember, when you're here, you don't have to go to work. And when you don't have to go to work, that's 12 hours free every day. Think about that. 12 hours free every day. You can sleep 12 hours every day and wake up and go out and do what you normally do. You can go and find bars that you turn around and have a few drinks in, or you can turn around and sample different spirits. You do Glenfiddich, Tandaway, Red Horse. You can do, San Miguel Light. You can turn around and do San Miguel Pilsen. You can turn around and do alcoholic cocktails. You can go and do beach resorts. But you can do golf. You can do running. You can do triathlon. You can do cycling. There are lots of hobbies you can do here. But get yourself a hobby. But it doesn't cost a lot of money to set yourself up to come and live in the Philippines. So, you need a bank account because you need to move money from where you want to move it into a bank account here. You need to get yourself a debit card. You can apply for a credit card once you turn around and got your money being paid in. I have a Philippine bank account. I have a Philippine driving license. I have a Philippine ACRI card. I have a Philippine tax code. I have a Philippine visa. Do I use it all? No. I carry it around just in case somebody wants to know who I am. But life is good in the Philippines. It's always in one of the top 10 destinations to retire. I was reading an article this week about Thailand. It's changing its visa regulations. It's not going 90 days, 60 days, it's going 30 days now because they were bringing in all of the dodgy people from around the world. And, you know, you need to police that through your immigration. So, you know, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, you know, Colombia, Vietnam, Thailand, you know, Portugal, Spain, Moldova, you know, Malta, Cyprus. All these countries are good for you to retire in. Countries I wouldn't retire in: Israel, the UK, Yemen, Ukraine, America. Yeah, you know, there are countries that you just do not go anywhere near. Yeah, because there's too many problems. You know, America's changing its visa requirements. There were four Germans on Monday filled out ESTA and did the paperwork and then flew into America, and they were rejected and sent back to America, sent back to Germany. So Germany have updated their visa requirements to the US because it's changed. The UK has followed suit. France is following suit. They're changing their visa. The ESTA and what you need to do to enter America is changing. It's changing. This is an add-on to the video I did earlier. Rent-wise, if you want to rent a studio apartment, it will cost you between 7,000 and 15,000 peso a month. No bills. Just that's a furnished accommodation. Depending on your electricity, your internet, your water, and the dues of where you're living. If it's in a subdivision, if it's not a subdivision, there won't be any dues. But your electricity and your water and your internet will be the same price. If you want to turn around and rent a 2-bedroom house, it will run from around 12,000 peso to around 28,000 peso. If you want to rent a 1-bedroom studio condominium, it will run between 21 and about 35,000. And the difference being on the condominium is because somebody will pay the rent and then they'll add in the management fees to the rent. Internet, water, electricity will all be additional to these rent fees. If you want to live in a subdivision in a 2 to 3 bedroom house, it will be around 25 to around 55,000 peso a month to rent that. So you can see why I tend not to get specific on rents, because you dealing with cash or dealing with online payment can make a deal. And the deal will depend on the length of stay you're going to turn around and put in place. You can turn around, if it's 6 months, it's going to be higher. If it's a year, it will come down a little bit. If it's 2 to 3 years, it will come down a little bit more. If it's longer term, now I've been in my apartment now for 5 years. That's great, because that person who rents me an apartment doesn't have to go out there and find anybody to replace me. He doesn't have to set up anything. He knows me. He knows what I do. You know, I don't wreck the place. I don't, you know, parties all night. I don't turn around and have a den of iniquity or anything like that. I just have a simple lifestyle. Now, if you move further out of the city, you can turn around and get cheaper rents on apartments, but on condos you can't, because people seem to have this fixation that condos are the same price. Even if you're living 5 kilometres out of the city, it's got the same price range as what's in the city, which is absurd, because you're not going to get a jeepney or a taxi adding additional cost to your year or your monthly salary or your monthly payments. Okay, now you want to be able to make sure you've got a local hospital, local supermarket, local taxi firm, local jeepney to get in. Either it's a one stop or it's a 150 peso trip. So you need to be on some main thoroughfares, i.e. like JP L'Oreal, Diversion Road, Castellon, davao, Milan, down at MacArthur, down at Matina. These areas you need to turn around and make sure, because they've all got transport. They've all got places, you know, you can go down the corner and you can stand on the side of the road. What you don't want to be doing is being in Tubuk or Indang. You don't get transport out there. You don't get taxis. You get a jeepney. You've got to get a jeepney. I looked at the subdivision the other day, and it's called Villa Mercedes. It's over in Toril. I asked them to order me a taxi so I could go home. I got a taxi there, which was okay, because I caught that in the city. I went there. I looked around the subdivision, then I ordered another taxi. 1.5 hours to get a taxi. 1.5, and I'm not kidding you guys, 1.5 hours for the taxi to turn up at Villa Mercedes. There's no other transport. So if you're moving to that subdivision, you can either get a car. So you need to put 1 million peso. If you can't drive, you need to put a driver so he can drive you. So you're looking at 500 peso a day for a driver. So these are the things, your lifestyle. Do you know what I mean? This is why I go back to this lifestyle thing. It's what you really, really want to afford. Now, you could look at it the flip side of it. And that's why I've just redone this video. While sitting there, I'm thinking to myself, why? You could get a hotel for 900 peso a day, okay, in the middle of town here. The Hop Inn down there, SPMC. Okay, you've got Go Hotel at the top here. You've got a couple other hotels out down there near Coastal Road. They're 900 peso a night, so let's call it 1,000. For staying there a month, it's 30,000 peso. However, you could turn around and go and talk to them about doing a deal. You don't want to pay them 1,000 peso a night, because every month they're going to turn around and do these discounted offers, you know, and they'll give 40% off a room. So 40% off a room, you're down to 600 peso, aren't you? So you could turn around and say, I'll pay you 700 peso for the room, and I want to turn around and stay here a year, or I want to stay here 6 months. So it's a long-term rental. That means you've got somebody looking after your room, you've got internet, you've got a television, you've got a nice bathroom, you've got teas made, you've got a small snack restaurant maybe downstairs where you could frequent with breakfast or lunch or sitting there. Your AC is free, you don't have to pay for that because your electricity is all included. You see where I'm coming from on this? So finding the Red Knight over here at Pampanga, do a long-term stay. But what you do is go and have a look at Agoda Hotels. The website, have a look at that. And the reason I'm just mentioning this, a friend, Annie's got her boyfriend. Annie's brother has got his wife who's coming to do it to Davao for a seminar like next week. I went on to booking.com and looked at a hotel, and that hotel was 2,900 a night. I went on to Agoda Hotel, whatever they want to call it, and I got the same room for 1,200 peso. So if I booked it through booking.com, it's going to be around about 12,000 for the 4 nights. Book it through there, it's going to be 6. So they do these deals, and they'd rather want somebody who's a foreigner staying in a hotel, and remember, you get 24 hours access, you get taxis local, you don't have to worry about cleaning, you don't have to worry about a garden, you don't have to worry about pets, you don't have to worry. So it might be an option you need to look at if you're coming here. You can do the condo life, you can do the apartment life, you can do the cheap rental. There's a place down at El Rio, Bacana, that's very, very cheap, 4,000 peso a month. But you get what you pay for. The rooms are bright blue. They get plastic furniture, plastic tables. When you break everything, they keep your deposit. That's another thing. You need to make sure you've got 3 months deposit. In a hotel, you don't. One of those things, isn't it? It's horses for courses. I don't know. When I first came here, I got at a hotel, and I stayed in that hotel 3 months, very close to the BI. I got all my paperwork done, I got all my bank, and then I moved out of the city. I moved up by the airport, and I was paying 7,000. And you can go back in my vlogs, and you can look at this from 4 years ago, 5 years ago. It's called Mango Hill, and I stayed there. Nice little room. Annie moved in, did everything I wanted. Transport into the city cost 200 peso a day. 200. Well, close to the airport, yeah, but I'm not going to be flying home. I want to stay there. So, anyway, it's your life. It's what you want. It's how you live. It's not how I live. What I live, I've got a nice life. I wouldn't have the same life that I've got here that I would have back in the UK or in any other country. I could go to Thailand, but no, I've been to Thailand, I've done Thailand, I've been to Cambodia, I've been to Laos, I've been to Vietnam. So there we go. Anyway, like, share, subscribe. Check out all my other vlogs, guys. Enjoy your life. You're only here once. It ain't a replay. And I would definitely not live in the provinces in the cultural climate that's happening at the present time.